there, my name is Belinda Dalston and welcome to the I Ching Cafe and our first weekly overview for 2024. Yes, the week commencing the 1st of January 2024. Before we get stuck into the exciting energy of this week, for the first one for the year, let us just do a little recap of our last week for last year, what we were working with and focusing on as we headed into the Christmas vibration, into the wrapping up of the year. We had that challenging hexagram 29 abysmal challenge. Okay, the water barreling down the ravine. And how do we deal with that? Well, with water, we go with the flow. We let water take us. We don't cling to the old ways of doing things. And our changing lines definitely counseled us to don't keep on repeating the same behavior over and over. It's just going to take you deeper into the pit. You're going to get stuck in there, and it's going to get really, really hard to get out. Plus, a caution against trying to push an agenda, push forward, push a solution, push an understanding. It's just what you need will come in time. Just hold back for now. And that hexagram 5 waiting, saying what you need is coming. It's not yet here. Be patient. Be in a holding pattern and get ready. Do the preparation work and sit it out until the time is right to move forward. So, not an easy energy, and it'll be great if there was something that you learned through working with that, an insight or a symbol or an experience that could be useful to share with everyone. Please consider putting it into a comment. Right, so let's get into it. First week of the year, what are we being asked to pay attention to? Our first hexagram is a whopper. Okay, as we start out the year, it is hexagram 49, revolution. Okay, looking at the structure, we have fire underneath lake. Okay, there's a fire inside the lake and it's fizzling and it pops out. All right. This idea of the change and the light and the inspiration of this fire bursting through, up through, as it moves up through the water of the lake to burst forth and shine brightly. This is a hexagram of change. Okay. Overthrowing the old. Revolution, that's what it's called. Creating a revolution in our lives and overthrowing the old. It's a big energy to start the first weekly on because it calls us to be willing to make big changes, bold leaps. All right. I would say that there's a wonderful synergy between this hexagram and those cursed New Year's resolutions. Okay. So instead of coming up with resolutions that by the 2nd of January we've already thrown in the bin, let us think about the deep transformations that we are needing to make. All right. Identifying and focusing on not what we should do to feel better or be better, but what do we transform in the way that we think about ourselves and our world. There's such an amazing energy, we have these kind of New Year's goals and we kind of burst out of the starting line. At the end of the day, the quality of your goals and the execution of those goals will tell itself at the end of the year. When we look back at the finish line of the year, we look back and say, could we sustainably hold that space? Could we sustainably commit to those goals? That's the value of having goals that we work at in a sustainable way. But this week, there's something we're needing to burst from, right? The transformation, the energy we're willing to do, to be, to unravel, to unpack, to let loose, whatever you want to call it, that we're willing to let go of the old. And with this hexagram, the symbol I've shared with you many times over is what happens when a snake sheds its skin. It's a natural thing to do. It doesn't hold on to it or kind of try and clutch onto it and save its skin. It knows that better skin is coming. I've got to get rid of this stuff. And it slides between the rocks and it shimmies around and it gets rid of the skin and boop, off it goes, leaving the old skin behind. A powerful symbol of the transformation we too go through as we leave behind layers of old dead skin. So, going into the first week of the year, this is a fantastic energy for us to burst forth with in committing and thinking about where we want that transformation to take place, all right? And transformation might find you if you avoid it. So you might find in this week, all right, you become aware of where is this fundamental change you're wanting to make. Where do you feel this urge of like doing things differently? All right, you always have to use your critical faculties, all right? You can't just, burn down the house without any consequences. But it's not about that. It's about really tuning into where you feel this deep desire to transform something, even if it's just one thing, Don't make your list of 20 issues that become very, very difficult to manage as the year goes on. What is the number one thing that's the number one thing? Where is that transformation really deeply needed? And think about how you can put in place support structures to let that transformation happen, to give it energy without it completely overriding everything. Because with a revolution, we've seen plenty of those in the last few years where it can also go extreme. It can also go completely over the top. And then the revolution becomes a cycle of violence. So what we want to do is we want to give energy to that transformation without it going to the full extreme of destructive force, okay? Take responsibility for your change. Now, 2 changing lines, the 5th and the 6th position. We've had these changing lines before in varying degrees over time, so they might sound familiar as I go through them with you. In the 5th position, this is tiger transformation, okay? Tiger, if you think about a tiger, the black and the orange or the yellow stripes are very distinct, okay? Stripe, 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 stripe. You can see the clarity, the lines, the delineation of the different patterns on the tiger, right? Anyone can see it. And so tiger transformation, think about the energy of the tiger. Think about when we look at Hexagram 10 treading, where we're following on the tail of the tiger, right? This power. There is power in this week for us to commit to change and making a quantum leap. A kind of change where you have your life before that moment and after that moment, where you really just leap forward and you make a commitment and you bring about a change that's so positive and so wonderful. And the thing about the stripes is very clear to everyone what has happened, right? And because it's clear, we get support. Everyone understands. Everyone's on sides. Everyone can see the change that has happened here. And there's a resonance and a connection to it. So it's not just about you in that position 5. It's a power line, not just about your change. It's about how it brings everyone else on board with you because they see the change and they understand what it means. That is our goal in working with this change. But all we have to do with this line, all we have to commit to is taking the leap of being bold and courageous enough and committed to what it is we're trying to do, about who we want to be, that we are willing to take that leap. That's all we have to do this week. That's all we have to do, she says. Okay, so that's changing line 5. In the 6th position, right, culmination, the end of the cycle, after all this intensity of Hexagram 49, we have Panther transformation. It's still a powerful beast, okay? But now if you think about a black panther, you look at a black panther, you think it's just black. If you look closely, it's still striped, subtle, okay? We get to the end of the cycle of change, and we now make small, subtle tweaks. All right, so there's 2 levels to this changing line. One is we tweak and we work with refining. So maybe with this big tiger transformation, there's a big boost that happens, right? And then panther transformation, we make tweaks and adjustments. There can also be different change issues in your life. One is bold and courageous and tiger, and one is we're tweaking the change. We're making small adjustments, all right? We're refining the change as the cycle of change comes to a close in this cycle. But the other meaning of this line talks about people molting in the face. Now, you know that with this line, it's the skin, okay, coming off the snake, molting being a way of shedding a skin, just like a crab does. It releases the skin. But here, the molting just happens in the face. So there's something around this line where we have to be satisfied with superficial change. Okay, we're making change tweaks, right? The panther stripes. But we have to recognize that inferior people are at this stage not yet able to make deep, powerful change. And when I say inferior, I'm not judging someone on any framework other than people who are not in their highest selves. Okay, not the best that they can be. We're all on a journey of trying to be the best we can be. Sometimes we dip into this place that's just not great. So people who are stuck in that world, in that energy, will molt in the face with this changing line. In other words, only superficial mask changes take place. All right? The mask is still on, but it's small changes in the mask that take place. And our task with this changing line is to accept that only small changes, superficial changes are possible here. Okay, so very interesting. One line saying, oh, leap. Okay, this is about you, leaping, energy. Others recognize the change and bind to it. This changing line, be at peace, where you find people who are only willing or able to make small changes. Be at peace that some change has taken place. You don't have to be the person that only makes small changes, okay? Make and refine the change, tweak the change. That's being the superior person. But don't just let slight modifications in the mask take place for you, because that means you're still wearing a mask. Very interesting two changing lines, Tiger transformation and Panther transformation this week. So what is our second hexagram? How does the path to victory manifest through these hexagrams? Well, it is Hexagram 30, Radiance. This is fire above fire, doubling of fire. This is the bonfire we're all seated around. And as we put great quality fuel, as we nourish our fire, think about our spiritual fire, right? Our core, our burning embers, right? We feed our burning embers with quality wood, with meaningful, powerful insights, things we cling to, our values and principles. As we feed that fire, the fire burns brighter and brighter and brighter. And we have an awareness that expands and opens up because of that. So it's a powerful hexagram of seeing beyond our peripheral vision, of broadening our awareness, of burning brightly, and of having clarity, and whatever level of clarity you need it the most. And when we put these two hexagrams together, we say, right, the path to victory is to burn this beautiful fuel and to see broader and see in a more clear way through this spiritual lens at our lives, coupled with this transformation energy, this upheaval, this change, this kind of overthrowing the old, the panthers and the tigers. It's an energy of quite a lot of intensity as we start the first week of 2024. So hold on tightly, okay? I affirm for you beautiful transformation, tigers and panthers doing their thing for you, and working with broadening the horizon, broadening the view, finding victory in seeing things on a much higher, elevated, broader level, seeing deeply and broadly into a situation, having clarity, right? As we start the year, having clarity of what lies ahead, what is the change we're wanting to manifest, and going forth and setting our course as we head into 2024 for this new way of thinking. A wonderful week. Have it, enjoy it, take it, be it. And I look forward to hearing how you did next week as we work through this I Ching energy. So as always, if this was useful, like and share. It'd be great. Thank you. That makes a huge difference to the channel. And of course, subscribe and follow if you are new, and join us on the regular for our weekly and monthly episodes as they land. The monthly is out. The annual is out. Lots of content to guide you and set your course for the year if you'd like to use them for that end. And I look forward to seeing you at our next weekly overview. Until then, take care.